In this week's I'm Glad You Asked, it is all about the names. Now, officially, the Atlantic hurricane season has not yet started, but we've got things heating up already. So where did the names come from? How do they get rotated out? And why are some of the letters missing? We've got all of that figured out. So when it comes to the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season, it starts on June 1st and goes until November 30th. But we all know the atmosphere is fluid. Doesn't necessarily have a calendar or a Palm Pilot like we used to see when to start and when to stop. So this is just a good indication of that time frame. Now, where do the names come from? You know, during hurricane season, we talk a lot about our correspondence with the National Hurricane Center. But believe it or not, they're not the ones that come up with the names. It's actually the World Meteorological Organization that gets to name all of these storms. They have 6 groups of rotation, and of course, once a storm causes destruction and a lot of damage, that name gets kicked off the list and retired. So the names, they're male and female. They alternate every single time around, but there are some letters missing. Yeah, believe it or not, U, X, Y, and Z are lacking from the lineup. Why? Because those letters don't have a lot of names associated with it. So what language are we looking for when it comes to these names? I mean, I've yet to see a Nikki-Dee, but there's been plenty of Nicoles. We are looking at the areas that specifically deal with Atlantic waterways. So we're looking at English names, French, and Spanish. So this year, here's a look at the lineup. Names look a little bit more simple than they have in the past, but that doesn't mean they're going to stay this way. Our first named storm, that will happen when we've got a tropical storm that's winds around 39 miles per hour. Now, if that tropical storm does decrease in strength, becoming a tropical depression, still gets to keep the name. But you don't get the name until you get up to that 39 mile per hour mark. So Anna's going to be our first one, followed by Bill, going all the way over into Fred. We've got Grace, Henry, Sam, Rose, Peter, and we're going to wrap up with Wanda. Hopefully this year we won't have to go to a secondary list, but if we do, it's not going to be the Greek alphabet. Last year we figured out that was just too complicated. Their letters a little bit out of whack from what we're used to, so we would just start over again. So I hope that explains a little bit as far as where these names come from and why some get kicked to the curb. If you've got a question or you want an experiment to be shown, all you have to do is email Nikki-Dee.Ray@newschannel5.com.